Hello everyone and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. I am Paco Garcia, your host, and today I bring you a review of Koi Garden, a game by Floyd Liu, 2 to 4 players ages 8 and over, that plays in about 15 minutes, give or take. This is lovely. Is it going to be worth the amount of money that you're going to have to pay to get your hands on it? I'm about to tell you. Welcome to the GMS Magazine board game review videos. Before I start, I would like to make a disclaimer. This copy of Koi Garden is not the full production copy. This is a pre-production copy created by the game crafter, which means that even though the quality is more than good enough to actually play and worth paying for it, the fact is that the produced copy, the final produced copy, hopefully will have a few changes that I am going to be talking about during this video. Now, Koi Garden, what is it all about? Literally is about you creating your very own pond koi garden. This is Tycho, just in case you've never met him before. He's my familiar and I love him very much. He likes games, but in a different manner. Anyway, as I was saying, Koi Garden, you're going to be creating your very own pond by placing tiles on top of the other. And with that and some wildlife that will help you score points, you're going to create the most beautiful koi garden you can possibly create. That means that this is basically a solitary multiplayer game, because although it is competitive, but there is no player versus player kind of interaction. You're just meant to be doing the best you possibly can with the resources you're going to have. The game comes with a deck of cards with a wildlife, some markers, which I really like as you score Zen points, and that is absolutely beautiful, in which you have a scale of points from 0 to 9, and then you have a separate card in which you can rotate to mark from 0, 10, 20, 30, all the way up to 79 or 80. Every player is going to start with a tile, which is the standard starter tile, and then you have the tiles with the textures that will determine what kind of area you have in there. There's a rule book, some little tokens with the wildlife that you're meant to have or able to use, and some stone lanterns that I will speak about later. As you can tell and see, the box is small. This is not going to be a large game at all, which is very good because it doesn't really need to be at all, and it's gorgeous. So, having said that, what is the game setup? Incredibly simple. In the game setup, we are going to have a set of these tokens, one for each player. So we get the flower, the damselfly, the tortoise, koi carp, the carp, this little animal, I don't know what it's like, I don't know what the name is in English, the snail, and the butterfly, and the other koi. So these are the animals. Each animal is going to have its own behavior, which is going to be given, here. These cards are meant to be given one randomly for each player at the beginning of the game, and each card has what the scoring strategy is all about. So, for example, here for the butterfly, score 3 points per wildlife around the butterfly. That means that you have to use the other wildlife, not just the one in the card that you allocated at the beginning of the game. But, you know, the frog is meant to have a different thing, and this little animal, which in Spanish is called a shoemaker. I have no idea why, but that's what we call it. Don't tell me, I didn't give it a name, so don't blame me. The tortoise, the damselfly, so on and so forth. What I like about this is that it's very expandable. You can have I don't know how many animals live in ponds, but I bet there are thousands of them. So the idea that you can have expansions with different animals, or even that you could make your own, that is absolutely wonderful, and I love it. Also, at the beginning of the game, you're going to create a marketplace, which I don't know if it is the right word. And with that marketplace, you're going to be able to choose among 4 of these tiles and then replace them with one of the remaining ones from the deck. Why is this important? Because each tile is going to have the textures that you need or not in order to create your very own koi pond. And to do that and create your koi pond, you have one of these, and you're going to be placing these tiles like so, or like so, covering 1 or 2 tiles. You can rotate them 90 degrees, but you cannot rotate them 45, so this would be not allowed. This would be allowed, this would be allowed, this would be allowed, and this would be allowed. And that way you can grow your garden, you can grow your pond to make it bigger and to adapt to the requirements, the scoring requirements of each wildlife that you're meant to be using. It is as simple as that. It doesn't require anything else. Of course, we have a rules manual. And I need to talk about this a little bit more at length because the rule manual needs a lot of work. The rules are just next to nothing. Seriously, I read these in about 5 minutes, less than 10, definitely. But they thoroughly need a proofreader and editor. And to be perfectly honest, considering that the size of the box is this, you can afford to make this a little bit bigger and make it easier to read and having bigger icons and bigger images, which would be lovely to have. But the biggest thing here, my biggest gripe, is that yeah, you need an editor to make this a bit easier to read, because some of the sentences were a bit So that is necessary. I mean, can I understand this? Absolutely, yes. Yes, I can. Trust me, I can. But it would be very nice to have this better explained. We also get this, which I really hope we're going to see a lot more of this. The ancient coin is a tool that you can use, and essentially is going to allow you to reshuffle all the cards in the marketplace and draw 4 new cards. So if you have 4 available cards and none of them fit your needs, you can draw new ones. That, though, comes at a cost. And the cost is that you have to use one of these beautiful stone lanterns and place them on one of your tiles. Why is this an issue? Because as soon as you place a stone lantern on one of your tiles, that tile becomes locked. Wildlife cannot go through it and you cannot score it. So you have to be very careful and use the tool card judiciously so not to, kind of get rid of an awful lot of tiles that will stop you from scoring at the end of the game. Do I like this game? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Is it perfect? Oh, no, not yet, but it could be pretty close to it. What is it that I liked about the game? It's incredibly easy to learn. It is such a delightful little game to play that doesn't require a massive amount of competition, and you can teach to pretty much anybody. And the theme is so beautiful and is so well translated from what it is a concept to the game itself that alone is amazing. In a world where having, farming games has been so overused, to have something like creating a koi garden is so peaceful, it's so beautiful, it's so rewarding. And just playing this game while listening to some kind of Zen music is just such a beautiful experience. I loved it. I really, really loved it. Does it need improvement? Yes. Absolutely yes. Things that for me were an issue, for instance, were the textures, because it's not clear enough what these textures are meant to be. Well, yes, this is the blue one, obviously, is the water, but the other ones, it could be more pleasing to the eye, it could be a little bit more better defined, basically. So it really, when you end up the game, you end up with a pond-looking area. It would be nice, for instance, to have shores, so you could limit the extent of the pond so you can get trapped a little bit if need be, or it requires a little bit more thinking into the tiles. That would be very, very nice to see. Something else I would love to see are either blank cards or more animals. So I hope that there are going to be some expansions, because this is fantastic. And this game thoroughly needs a solitary mode. It really needs a solo gameplay, because this is a kind of puzzle that probably you could end up playing for hours and hours. Is this going to be worth the amount of money you're going to have to pay to get your hands on it? Just the way the game is, I would say yes. I like it. It's a very simple, it's quite replayable, but it's not the kind of game that you're going to get into and play for the rest of your life. But I can see children getting very, very much into it, and I can see adults really spending a couple of hours just playing this as and when. Could this game be magnificent? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Develop the rules a little bit more. Give me a couple of play modes so you can have a little bit more competition if you want to, even though it will go very much against the spirit of the game. But it could be fantastic. And expansions. I want to see more animals. I want to see more land and different textures. So it can be a different kind of pond with different terrain within it. But just the way it is, this is so lovely. This is so utterly charming. I can't wait to see the final version and bring it to the table, because this is going to be fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for being there. It is truly and genuinely appreciated. Please leave me your comments, and I very much look forward to seeing and reading them. But until the next time, I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.